Hello and welcome. This is the World Cup News Breakdown brought to you by Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub www.ThePapare.com. The 11th ICC Cricket World Cup 2015, the second quarter final was between defending champions India, and they remain unbeaten into today's game, and of course Bangladesh, the first time into the knockout stage of this important tournament. Joining us to talk about all this is Roshan Abesinghe, cricket administrator and international cricket commentator. Of course, Jehan Mubarak, still in the business of playing cricket and has World Cup experience. Welcome, gentlemen. Not an unexpected result. I thought Bangladesh was below par, Roshan.
Definitely. I think I'm quite surprised that this is the second quarterfinal, second big game that has been one-sided. You know, Sri Lanka was kind of defeated by South Africa, quite a convincing, comprehensive 9-wicket win. Now, everybody was expecting Bangladesh to create an upset if they can, to try and, come hard at the Indians. But in the end, the bottom line was India won with more than 100 runs to spare. So it showed what a superior side India is, and possibly Bangladesh not playing in the big league, particularly in the knockout stages of the World Cup, won't have known how to absorb that pressure. I felt that there were definite flaws in the captaincy of Mashrafi Mortaza, where there were certain places where Bangladesh should have been a little bit more proactive and should have gone a little bit harder.
Like when?
At a time when India were 99 for 2 in 25 overs. Rahane was struggling. He had got 11 of 28 balls. He was really struggling, and I thought that had rubbed on Rohit Sharma. He looked very, very fluid at the start. He was solid. He was getting his runs, but when Rahane came in, dot balls were bowled, and Rohit Sharma was also not timing. So I felt that was a stage that Bangladesh should have been a little bit more aggressive, gone for the extra wicket. They got Rahane, but then try and understand, or if people watching this game will agree with me, Mashrafi Mortaza's captaincy. He brought himself on when he had bowled badly, and the way he bowled to Raina was bad, because you could have seen that Mortaza was down in pace. Raina, for one thing, is not particularly comfortable against express pace. He would enjoy spinners and medium paces. Mortaza was under 130. I would have thought bring in Rubal Hussain, who can bowl 140, even 145. Give him 1 or 2 short balls. Try to get Raina out. Had Raina got out at that stage, maybe Bangladesh could have put some pressure on Dhoni coming in. And then after that, the Indians, they have all-rounders but not tested. So they have opportunities. I felt that Mortaza missed a trick. I don't know whether it was to do with the captaincy per se, or simply whether they were kind of overawed by the situation playing in a quarterfinal.
Just for the record, Nasser Hussain was their most economical bowler, and he was 1 over short of his 10 overs. He bowled 9 and went for 35. Didn't pick up a wicket, but the dot balls that Roshan was talking about was when he was bowling to Rahane and Rohit Sharma. Jahan, Rohit Sharma, after 2 half centuries, he's really getting into top form now at the top of the order. Becomes the 4th Indian top order batsman to cross 100 runs. Good knock. He started small, but really very big to end up more than run a ball.
That seems to be the hallmark of all the Indian batsmen. They pace themselves very well throughout the innings, take their time to get set, play themselves in, have a look at all the bowlers so that they know whom they can target, have a look at the ground, where is the short boundary, where is the long boundary, and by the time it comes to the 30th over, they have a very good understanding of how to bat the next 20 overs. They play it like a T20 game. They play it like a game of 2 halves. The first 30, they spend time at the wicket. Whoever it is, it could be Rohit Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, Rahane, and even Kohli. They just spend their time at the wicket for the first 30 overs, and then they just change gears. And it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4. They just go straight from 1 to 4. We saw him do that against Sri Lanka in India when he got that 264. The last 20 overs, there was nowhere that we could bowl to him. And it's not just Rohit Sharma, it's the attitude of that entire Indian batting unit, that everybody has the mentality of playing themselves in, even if they lose 2 wickets at the top or 3 at the top, like it happened today. They don't panic. They still take their time. Yes, Rohit and Rahane got stuck for a bit in the middle. Yes, Bangladesh probably could have done a bit more. Maybe better teams would have put them under pressure. Maybe better teams have better bowlers to put them under pressure. But I think the hallmark of the Indian team is they don't panic, and that comes from having Dhoni in the middle. In the middle, I mean, when I say in the middle order, batting at number 7, they know that Dhoni is there. They know that guys who can clear the boundary are behind them. So even if there are a few dot balls there, I don't think they play a rash shot. Yeah, I very rarely do see an Indian batsman playing a rash shot and getting out. But India is to me the team to beat in this World Cup.
Yeah, 75 run opening stand between Shikhar Dhawan, who made 30, and Rohit Sharma. Then within the space of another 40 runs, they lost Dhawan himself. Virat Kohli, a rare failure for him, and of course Ajinkya Rahane with Mushfiqur Rahim contributing 2 catches behind the wickets for Bangladesh. But then came that 122 run stand with Rohit Sharma, overshadowed initially by Suresh Raina, who made 65. That was the turning point, I thought, in that Indian innings. They played like true champions. They were always in control.
Yeah, I do agree with Jehan summing up about the way the Indian second half or the second half of the innings, because at the end of 30 overs they were around 130, and at the end of 50 they went up to 302, and they were going
at the end
at
of 40 they were
190
or
190,
close to
190,
200.
190. So they were going at 10 and over. See, I really put it down as he said, is to the experience, and you're right. I mean, they're so cool about the way they said about they just, you don't see them panic at all, and the way I think the Bangladesh bowlers didn't know what to bowl, because they were, I was watching them, not just 6s and 4s. I liked the way they had full value for the 6s and 4s, because they kept doing it in getting singles also. So always you get a 6 and a 4 and you get 4 singles, you've got full value. So that's what Rohit Sharma and Raina did extremely well. And also, Jehan, I think with Raina's T20 experience, he seemed to manufacture shots. He seemed to play shots that is out of this world. I mean, it comes from nowhere, and for someone with that kind of talent, I'm actually surprised that he's not done well in Test cricket. He struggled so much in Test cricket. Could be that
I think it's because of the point that you mentioned against genuine
so many shots to play, and he'll play
and
a
also
wrong shot.
against genuine pace
and genuine bounce. He has struggled, and once teams find you out, they will continue to attack you, and I think that's one thing that has held him back at Test level.
And with that partnership, what happened was that the Bangladesh fielding, which had to be good, just broke down. They considered too many overthrows. They didn't sort of look sharp. They were at times ragged on the field. I mean, you don't expect that in a quarter-final.
Bangladesh play, I mean, all the games that I've watched or played against them, they play really, really good cricket for about 30 overs, 35 overs, and the rest of the game, the 70 overs in the game, they just completely let go, whether they bat first or whether they bowl first. Even if they bat first 30, 40 overs, they play really, really well, and then they throw it away in the last 15 or last 10 overs. And the same with the ball. They play really well, but they can't sustain it for long periods of time. And it's the same with Test cricket, and the same with one-day cricket.
That's why they can't beat good sides, Harith, because they cannot win those battles. They can't win those sessions. They can't win those periods. As he says, you win certain periods, but you can't sustain it. Against good sides, they'll lose 1 or 2 sessions, but they'll come back hard. But if you're playing against weak sides, then those weak sides don't challenge you.
Yes, and Tascan Ahmed was the most successful. Picked up 3 for 69 of his 10 overs. Like Murtaza, the 2 opening bowlers, each went for 69 of that 10 overs. So that's a lot of runs. 138 runs of 20 overs. You really can't recover. Very quickly, we'll just go back to the Bangladesh reply. Shakib Al Hasan, such out of colour performance. That 7th wicket stand between Nazir Hossain and Sabir Rahman that put 50 runs was the only one with substance. A lot of batsmen got into starts, 20s, 30s, but never really mattered.
At 105 for 5, I don't know whether the Indians just knew that they are winning it, you know. So I wasn't sure whether they played with that same amount of intensity. The Indians weren't, I don't think. You see.
Other than, of course, the short bowling.
Yeah, see, they were at 105 for 5 when Mahmudullah got out at 77 for 3. You know, they had a decent opening partnership, 2 quick wickets. Then Mahmudullah was the man they were banking on. You know, he got 200, and I thought that was expecting a little bit too much. But then after that, the way Shakib batted and even Mushfiqo batted, they were playing so many dot balls. They were not there. I mean, to get to 100, they had lost 4 wickets, and they took, I think, about 25 or 26 overs to get to 100. So they were never in the game. And when you lost wickets, Haritha, no chance.
And that brilliant run out of Ajay Jadeja and that brilliant catch of Mahendra Singh Dhoni, I think that just summed up. Dhoni in fact held on to 4 catches. Ravichandran Ashwin, very economical, 10 overs 30. I mean, there were so many things happening for India. Bangladesh had it so difficult.
I sometimes wonder whether it was too easy for India, and whether, you know, sometimes when teams keep winning all the time, you wonder at what stage you'll drop a game, because you know you're bound to drop a game at some stage. So that's why most teams wish to drop a game in the first round where it doesn't hurt you too much. But you come into a knockout stage and you drop a game, then you're out. So India has not been honestly tested. South Africa didn't test them. Pakistan didn't test them. So the rest has been fairly easy. I mean, it's the next game that India will really be tested, the semi-final. I mean, if they get through the semi-final, I think they're good as winning the World Cup, because they can make it. But I think the semi-final is really going to be the crunch game. And if that semi-final happens to be against Pakistan, I think India will be under a lot of pressure.
We will talk about that game because just for the record, Umesh Yadav became the 3rd bowler in this Indian lineup to pick up 4 wickets in this World Cup. He joined Mohammad Shami, who picked up 2 today, and before him Ravichandran Ashwin, who had taken 4 wicket hauls. Yes, you're sharing the passion. We are sharing the passion with you, in fact, of the 11th ICC Cricket World Cup, and you know that we have the Sangha Mahela Legends page. You can send in your tributes, and they are now retired from 50-over cricket. The international community have given them the thumbs up for their contributions to cricket in general, not essentially Sri Lanka cricket, and be involved. You're with www.thepapare.com, Sri Lanka's #1 sports hub, sharing the passion. Yes, tomorrow, you mentioned Pakistan. Tomorrow Pakistan is up against Australia. The co-hosts come into play tomorrow and the day after at Adelaide. Australia will be teaming to go and stop another India-Pakistan game.
Adelaide is historically a good batting pitch.
It's a good batting pitch. It will help the spinners a bit. Short boundaries, square of the wicket. Long boundaries down the ground. May suit Pakistan's style of play. If they get there. One person I've not seen turn up at this World Cup is Shahid Afridi. He's done nothing with the bat, nothing with the ball.
Nothing serious. He's
nothing
got 20
serious.
But
he's capable of far, and he's a player who can change games. And to win games, Pakistan need Afridi to come to the party. They're going to struggle in the middle. Even with the ball, they need him to come pick up wickets, and he can do that. So maybe this big game against Australia is the game where Afridi comes to the party. They will miss Mohammad Irfan at the top, but I think Pakistan also have been getting progressively better throughout the tournament. They've got their combinations right. Safraz is now opening the batting, which I think that he should have been doing right along.
He's doing very well behind the stumps as well as in front of the stumps.
He took a brilliant catch as well the other day. So he's sort of the guy with so much energy on the field, behind the stumps, with the bat. Is always looking to take the game to the opposition.
You want to call him the trailblazer of this Pakistan side now?
Yeah,
no, you're not
he's
yet.
He's the only guy who's taking the game to the opposition. There's nobody who's. Misbah comes in and sort of takes everything down a notch, or
he's a more stabilizing factor.
Takes it down about 3 notches. Yeah. So Safraz comes and takes it to the opposition. So does Ahmad Shahzad. But then they're lacking that, after Misbah, somebody else who can come and do that.
Somebody else. Tell me, Roshan, Yunis Khan, you want him there?
Yeah, I think so, because Yunis Khan's experience will matter, because particularly in a game like the quarterfinal, you're up against a good side, you need experience, Harika. That's where Sri Lanka went wrong. Sri Lanka did not go with experience. They went with, say, more the potential and the
Somebody
promise.
will argue, what? No experience? Dilshan, Sangakkara, Jayawardene?
Well, a team doesn't make three.
Yeah.
A cricket team comprised of 11
No,
players.
name. I mean, somebody will say. We have
No,
someone-
people could say a lot of
Yeah.
things, but we have discussed about Kusal, we discussed about Tamira, we discussed about
Oh,
Tarandu
that.
Kaushal. So
Yeah.
we discussed about all those guys.
No, somebody missed and they would have wondered why
Yeah.
they had so much.
Yeah. So, but
No
so
offense. No
I
offense.
feel that when it comes to a quarter final, when it comes to a big game in world cricket, you need the experience, people who can really absorb it, who will know how to handle it, who have been there before, and who can lead from the front. And of course, Yunis Khan hasn't been in the form of his life, or hasn't been in the best of form, but being
He could make a
quality
difference.
player,
He could make a
being
difference. He
quality
could come to-
player,
he could notch his game up to the
can
required
always-
level.
He can always
come in.
turn up.
And the fact that the last time the tournament was played in the southern hemisphere that Pakistan won, it's only a historical fact now when you look at this game.
You can't compare those two sides. I don't think.
It's hard to
92
compare.
was-
It's all hard to compare the game itself from then
Yes.
to now. There's so many changes that have come in now. There are stats that are being pulled up about each venue. Nobody has chased at Adelaide, or nobody has chased at Sydney and won. Nobody has chased at Adelaide and won. All those stats need to go out the window, because we are talking about 2 new balls, power plays, extra field in the ring, and the batting team has so much more going for them now that
It's a
you
batsman's
can't compare the Pakistan team in '92, nor can you compare the cricket that was played in '92 to what is being played at this World Cup today.
Just look at the possibility. I mean, if Mohammad Irfan was available, Pakistan would have had 3 genuine quicks who would have been touching 145. And if that was the case, it's not the case, but if that was the case, you think Australia's batting would have still had the freedom to move about and sort of toy with their bowling attacks as they've done?
Maybe not. I think, look, but they are used to that pace, and they're used to having fast bowlers come hard at them. Australia would probably be the best team prepared to cope against a fast bowling attack as Pakistan's. If we are talking about maybe India or the West Indies, yes, 140 plus, 3 bowlers at 140, 145 may have an effect. Australia less so, and Australia bat very deep as well, with Mitchell, James Faulkner, Mitchell Stark can bat, and Mitchell Marsh, whom they might bring in. Watson comes in at number 6. It's a very strong batting lineup, a very strong tail. If they are to do something, I still feel that the spinners need to do something for Pakistan. Afridi needs to come in. To me, Afridi is the key. If Afridi bowls well, he will give so much more freedom to Misbah with his bowling unit that he can hold his better bowlers to the death. Always Afridi's bowled only 6 overs in the World Cup so far in every game that he has played. He hasn't bowled out his quota of 10.
You have a lot of in-depth knowledge about Pakistan cricket, especially in the
You
one-day
think so?
scene. Yeah, I think so. Don't let me name Roshan. Just tell me, what would be the game changer or the turning point of this match tomorrow?
No,
It has never happened, so don't.
you
don't
mean
think-
to say from a Pakistan point of view?
No, from your
So-
point of view. we
Well,
are on this discussion.
I honestly feel that it's going to be how Pakistan will contain the Australian batting, because I feel, as Jan said, with Glenn Maxwell there, with Faulkner there, if Marsh plays, and you got great innovative batsmen, and you also have out and out quality players in terms of Clark, in terms of Smith, and then you have Warner and Finch at the top. So it's an awesome batting lineup. So it is how Pakistan will cope with that, because Pakistan, we haven't seen their batsmen scoring runs.
Yeah.
You see, they have not chased big scores, they have not come up with big scores. It's just their bowlers who have done the job. Now, as you correctly said at the start, they're missing out on one bowler. So Afridi hasn't really done too much. So if Australia, gets 300, it's a beautiful pitch at Adelaide. We all know it's a batting surface. will Pakistan have the firepower to go after it? They just don't have it because Afridi has failed. Umar Akmal, such a great talent, has been an utter disappointment.
What about coming up in the order for
Umar Akmal, but in whose place is the question, because they now, I think they don't consider him, batting him low in the order, they don't consider him to be capable of playing a long innings.
Or probably maybe that last 10 overs.
They are just using him for a short burst.
Probably that field restriction in the last 10 overs.
They can use him maybe when they take the batting power play. They might use him.
Yeah,
but I would say bring Yunis into the team. Yunis Khan into the team. Bet him at 3 or 4.
Yeah, we are in agreement. I think.
Ask Misbah. Misbah you use as a holding role. Just to keep one end going, but he needs other people batting around him. He needs Yunis Khan, Safraz.
Just tell me very quickly. We don't have too much time. What do you prefer, Australia to bat first or Pakistan? With a chase.
If I want to see a Pakistan victory or an Australian victory,
tell me.
And I would like to see Pakistan bat first, and then put runs on the board. Put the Australian batting under pressure. Ask them to chase. Australia have always batted first in the tournament so far and got big scores, and that has helped their bowling. I would like to see the Australian batting unit chase under pressure.
And the Pakistan expert amongst us, you are in agreement?
I think if Pakistan can get about 250, 260.
That much only?
Yes, I think because I don't think they are a side capable of making more than that. They haven't. They have relied a lot on their bowling, and they have defended small scores. They have defended 220 or something against South Africa and against such a good batting side. So of course there are lots of factors that will have to be considered, assuming that they get a sporting pitch that will be prepared under ICC supervision. I think 250, 260, 270, if Pakistan bowlers turn up, it will be a good game.
Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Jehan. And tomorrow we'll come and talk about a possible India-Pakistan semi-final or not. Thank you for being with us.
Fire up your home or office with ultimate speeds. Keep up with the next generation on Dialog 4G. Connect to the fastest network with burst speeds of 40 Mbps. Go 4G with monthly plans starting at just 1,400 rupees. Dialog, the future today.